I'm going to add me to the stage. Hello. Good morning, homeschool moms. Welcome to Coffee and Calm with Amanda, live podcast where you can tune in if you're craving coffee, peace, and some permission to break the rules. Because as homeschool moms, man, we have to set a brand new tone, not just for ourselves, but for our families. And we are going to get some really hard grain for some of us. So pull up a chair, grab your coffee, pop in your earbuds. This is meant to be an easy listening podcast for you so that you can come away with a little bit of encouragement, maybe have a few giggles. And I would absolutely love if you are here live with me. Just say hi in the chat, in the comments. I'd love to see your face. And if you're catching the replay, I read all of my comments. So I would really love to hear from you if you're catching the replay. Ask a question or you have, an aha moment. I want to hear all about it in the comments. So I'm going to take a sip of coffee. We can get started. I'm trying to not wear my glasses today if you notice something a little different about my face. Of course, I'm still wearing my Pacifica masks. Woo! Of course, I will not take those off. But I am trying to reduce the glare because I have my wonderful office that has a cute little black and white backdrop. But I really want to invite you guys into my kitchen, which isn't by any standards of the imagination like Pinterest perfect, but that's part of the reason. Like, I want to invite you in. Like, it's clean enough. Like, I can have people over. Like, I'm having you over. So my point is my lighting setup isn't the best, but this is meant for you to be listening to anyways. But hopefully you feel welcomed into my home. Now, today is all about what being a lava monster taught me. And if you ever yelled at your kids and instantly thought, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Like, I have been there. And so often I'm a doer. A lot of homeschool moms are doers, and maybe that's not your nature, but you have to become a doer as a homeschool mom. But that's my nature. And so my natural response to, like, okay, I snapped at my kids. Now what? What do I do from here? My natural response is try harder. I know, is that you? Do you ever drop me in the comments, try harder? Sorry, all my support liquids. I've got to take a sip. If your natural response to what feels like failure is try harder, just put try harder in the chat because I want to see you and recognize you. And I think moms, gosh, we are freaking incredible. Let's just say that. You are amazing. Because you don't give up and you come back and you keep trying, even when your kids are treating you poorly. Like, you are amazing. So let's just say that. But when we try harder and that makes it worse, that's what I want to share with you today. I want to share with you a story that cracked me open. And I want to share the tool that helped me come back to the mom I was meant to be. And the same tool I actually teach in my book, Overwhelmed. Let me grab that real quick. Such a beautiful cover. I teach this tool in my book, Overwhelmed, a homeschool mom's rescue plan for peaceful routines. And we're going to be celebrating this book in exactly 1 week on July 15th. And I'll be having giveaways and live readings, homeschool mom encouragement. I'm having interviews from different podcasters who are in the homeschool space. They're going to come and share their thoughts and their hard things with you. So if you have felt like this whole topic of being overwhelmed or homeschool mom burnout is taboo, like, my job is to eliminate that, and we can have some authentic talk in this real space. So join me next week for that. We are actually starting, I think we're starting at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30, 11, 12, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't laugh at me. Yes, I still use my fingers to count, and my children are better at math than me, which means my ceiling has become their floor, which is my job as a mom, right? To be fair, it was a really low ceiling when it came to math. They didn't have to try very hard to be better at math than me. So, but I've done my job. Pat me on the back. Thank you very much. Just let me know in the comments if you are a mom who is also not math inclined. You're not math inclined. I am not. And that's okay because I have tools to support me as a homeschool mom. All right. So I'm actually going to put this link in the comments if you want to join me next week and learn just a little bit more about. Is that going to post? There we go. I want you to click that link and, maybe open it in a new tab right now, but set the notifications to on, because next week during our live, again, I'm going to be, yes, we're celebrating the launch of the book, but we're going to be really breaking open Homeschool Mom Burnout, what it's like to be overwhelmed, and really just removing the veil and the shame that's around this as that we feel as homeschool moms, and really bringing it out in the open so we can talk about it instead of keeping us trapped and isolated behind closed doors. So let me tell you the story. Now, I'm trying to think how old my third was. He was not 1 yet. So he hadn't turned 1 yet. So he's almost 9. This is 7-8 years ago. And during this season of my life, it was very challenging because we had decided for my husband to go back to school. And I was homeschool mom. I was breadwinner and everything else. Like my husband was, when I say full-time in school, there were times he slept on campus so that he could have access to the computer lab as soon as it opened so he could study. Like he was committed. I was committed. We agreed to do this together. But that was not, in hindsight, this was my unraveling, which really honestly became my becoming. So let me get back into the story. Needless to say, I was running on empty, and I was trying to get some work done, and so I let the boys put on a movie. If you've ever done that, put movie in the chat. I mean, like whether you're working or not, you're like, I just want to do the dishes without being interrupted. Here's a show, right? So I did that, and the boys chose Moana. It was new at that time, and they had watched it a couple times before, I think, but I never really paid attention. And near the end of the movie, I look up and I see Moana staring down Te-Kā at the end of the movie. And, I'm kind of watching, Moana gets past Te-Kā and the climactic scene to make it to Te Fiti, and then Te Fiti's not there where she's supposed to be. And Moana has the realization that the lava monster is actually the life-giving island goddess with her heart removed. So this life-giving island goddess was showing up as a ferocious lava monster because her heart had been removed. And gosh, Disney stole it from the Bible. But Moana recognizes that, and she asks the ocean to part so Te-Kā can come to her. And because, when lava touches water, it hardens. And so the ocean parts, and Te-Kā still doesn't realize she's actually a life-giving monster. And Moana sings this beautiful song, which I will not ruin it, but it goes on, they've stolen the heart from inside you, but this does not define you. You know who you are. And in that moment, I was so captivated and so enraptured by this scene. Jesus very clearly spoke to me. He said, that's you. Right now, you're that lava monster, but that's not who you are. I have created you to be this life-giving island goddess of a mother to love, to nurture, to feed, to nourish. And that's not who you're showing up as, but that's because your heart has been stolen. And I remember breaking down crying in this moment. And I believed I was the lava monster, but that like is who I was, not who I was showing up as. And that's the whole point of this scene, is that Tafiti isn't Teika. She's still Tafiti. She's just, her heart is removed. And as soon as you put her heart back into her, immediate transformation. And she shows up as who she was designed to be. And this was it wasn't like a mindset shift, because this can be helpful. This was a complete identity shift to where I really believed I was a monster. I really believed there was no helping me. I mean, when I say I tried the hardest I could try, I tried all the hard. And I tried to be the best and trying to do all the right things. And I really believed I was that monster. So if you have felt that, I want you to put lava monster in the comments. You have believed you were that lava monster, not just shown up as her. If you believed you were that lava monster, I want you to put lava monster in the comments, because our identity is crucial to how we show up. And had I continued believing I was that lava monster, that's who I was inherently, I could not change her, then I would have never figured out how to change. And this is the part where there are some moms, and you might be listening, you're like, I know I'm that life-giving mom, but I'm not showing up as her. That's wonderful. I have tools to help you. But for the mom who really believes that this lava monster, she's a monster, and she can't shift out of that, we've got to first like break up that rocky ground, because rocky ground won't, like, if you're like a dry, dusty desert, I could pour water on you and it'll just evaporate. So that's something we have to shift in you. And there's identity shifting. Like, I don't know a way to do that without Jesus. Like, I have been the lowest of lows. I've dealt with depression, anxiety, suicide ideation, self-harm. I've dealt with all those things. And the only thing that saved me is literally Jesus Christ. And going to the Word, going to the Bible, and learning what God says about me. That's the only thing that has ever shifted the darkest parts of me and shed light and love into those hard spaces. And so I just want to encourage you, if you feel like that monster of a mom, like get into the Word, read Ephesians. Just go to Ephesians chapter 1 and 2 and just read what God says about you. Just read what he says about you. I mean, all of Ephesians is great. But just read what God says about you and what he's given you. You know, or you could go read Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8 is probably a really, really good one for you to go read. Start there. Romans chapter 8. There is no condemnation for those who are in Christ. We have nothing to be ashamed of. It's all been revealed before the Lord, and he has forgiven it. You know, so I just want to encourage you. Head to the Word and really see what God says about you. If you need help shifting that. That was not in my notes. That was not in my notes. Got all that for free. But I want to know, I mean, thinking about Disney hasn't only helped me. Like, God talks to me through Disney. Does God talk to you through Disney movies? You can put Disney in the comments. Put Disney in the comments. I'm just checking. Okay. Put Disney in the comments if God has talked to you through Disney movies, because this isn't the only movie he's talked to me through. This is probably one of the most powerful. One of the most powerful. But I have definitely had multiple God encounters through watching Disney. So drop that if that resonates with you. I'd actually love to hear what Disney movie it was, or multiple Disney movies that you felt like God talked to you through. Um, just help shift your identity stuff. So I'd love to see those in the comments. But I just want to encourage you that, I mean, God could talk to us anywhere. And I want to encourage you that you were not made, whether you believe in Jesus or God or not, you were not made to be a monster. You were not made to be that way. And if you happen to be a mother, like, you are made to give life. Like, literally, you are made to give life. That is who you are. Maybe you're not showing up that way. There are reasons for that, but that is what you were like made to be. That is your design. And when that sinks in, some dark places can begin to shift, and we can begin to believe there's hope. And so I just want to encourage you with that. All right. I want to move through my notes. Okay. So getting back to the just trying harder. And I will be honest with you, ladies, I'm pretty much a force. Like, I'm a force to be reckoned with. I wouldn't want to meet me in a dark alley. And so when I say I tried harder, I worked harder, I tried to be better, like, I gave it my all, and there was some oomph behind it. And the reason it didn't work is because it wasn't a character flaw. I kept trying to fix a character flaw. And the way I was doing that was very, what is the word? Like, self-deprecating. I very much verbally abused myself in my head. And the things that I would say to myself, like, I won't even say here because your kiddos could be listening. I mean, it was awful the way I would speak to myself in my head. And certainly I'd never speak to another human being that way. But the problem with trying harder wasn't that that was just never going to work. Trying harder wasn't going to work because it wasn't a character flaw I was trying to fix. It was my brain living in survival mode for too long. And I didn't need to try harder. I needed to learn how to regulate, reset, and reconnect with myself. I mean, there is so much. And I don't know sorry, this one's a little heavy, but I had been so disconnected from myself for a long time. I didn't even feel like emotional triggers or physical. You know, if you start to panic, typically, like, you have shortness of breath, maybe your chest feels tight. And I couldn't feel those things. I was so disassociated from my body and my emotions because I had been so deep in survival mode for so long. But, now we look at it like, oh yeah, you were in survival mode and you were in fight or flight. But back then, nobody used those words. Like, I didn't have that verbiage. And so I just thought there was something wrong with me. And if you ever felt like there's something wrong with you, or just try harder, like, drop a little heart in the chat. Drop a little heart, and feel free at any point to be asking questions or sharing your experience. That's why I do this live. If you can't join me, it's probably because you're a homeschool mom, and you might be making breakfast. But I want you to come back, and I want you to comment, and I want to hear from you. I want to create a space where you feel seen and you feel understood and you feel like there is a safe space for you to share. And so, I just want to, again, I want to share with you, there's not something wrong with you, that you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with your character. What's wrong is your nervous system being stuck in survival mode for too long. And sometimes we go in and out of it, and sometimes we've just been in it for, I mean, I was in survival mode before I had children. This, like, it, my children didn't bring it on. Homeschooling didn't make me go into survival mode. I mean, I was barely technically homeschooling at that time. I had an infant, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So, I mean, my 4-year-old was learning to read, but we really weren't homeschooling. It wasn't even being a mom that brought this on. It was just pattern after pattern in my life of living in survival mode and not knowing that's what it was and not getting out of it, just going from one crisis to another. And so, like I said, I needed to, first of all, reconnect with myself, learn how to regulate and reset. And this tool I'm about to share with you, man, it really changed the game for me. And this is a tool I teach often. Let me just say. This is a tool I teach often. One, it's easy to use. And two, it takes away a lot of shame and it gives you a direction. So the tool I want to teach you that I talk about in my book, where did my book go? It was right there. The tool I talk about in my book, Overwhelmed, is called Traffic Light Brain. And it finally gave me a map for understanding my emotions and being stuck in survival mode and talking about like emotions and nervous system and physical sensations and, you know, our spiritual, you know, wherever we are spiritually, a lot of these things are really intertwined. I like to say it's like a big messy plate of spaghetti, right? You can pull out an individual noodle and we can examine it and we could talk about this noodle, but it all touches each other. It's all intertwined. You know, our physical bodies are not completely separate from our mind or our emotions or our spirituality. Like they're, we could talk about them individually, but they all intertwine. So this is a tool that really helped me mentally and emotionally so that I could begin to get back into touch with the physical sensations that came with being in fight or flight that I just did not recognize because of dissociation. So traffic light brain. Let me explain this for a minute because it is really helpful. My mouse. This is a real live show, you guys. Oh, thanks, Stephen. It's very kind. So looking back at my notes again, I am so nearsighted. My font is at 22, and this is how close I am. Okay, let's talk about traffic light brain. So obviously imagine a traffic light. And green means go, right? You are calm, you're connected, you're thinking clearly. Yellow means like, let's pump the brakes, right? So yellow is when you're frustrated, maybe you're feeling scattered, stress is rising. And then red is a full-on stop. That is where you are in fight, flight, or freeze. Whether you're just reacting. You're not really choosing at this point, you're reacting. You're not responding. Then I realized I'd been living in the red, like living there, not just like experiencing moments of red light, which that's normal to have those moments, especially like if you have a life-threatening situation. You know, maybe you jump into red when you almost, you know, get rear-ended, or you're out hiking and you hear what sounds like a low growl. Oh, it just turns out to be a dog on the trail. You know, it's important that we are able to go to the red zone, but when we're living there, that's not good, because trying harder won't work. We have to learn how to move from the red to the yellow and live in the green. Now we will experience yellow probably most days, but red should be reserved for actual survival moments. Now, I want you to ask yourself, thinking about the picture of the traffic light brain, where do you find yourself most of the time during the day? Where do you find yourself most of the time? Are you most of the time, are you stressed? Are you feeling frustrated or scattered? Feeling like stress is rising? Are you feeling like, man, I'm just reacting to everything? I feel like I'm putting out fires. I want to hear from you in the comments. Am I just putting out fires? What am I doing? Like, where I don't even feel like I'm controlling myself. Or do you feel green most of the day? Like you're calm, connected, thinking clearly. We had a pretty good green day yesterday, like surprisingly, all of us. So I think my 5-year-old had some struggles. He's also 5. But we had a pretty green day yesterday. But we have yellow days. And so, like, very rarely now do we have red days. But typically we have more yellow. So yesterday was a really good day for us. It was mostly green. But if you find yourself kind of living in yellow, that means you can jump pretty easily to red. And you might be in red more than you realize. So I just want you to put green, yellow, or red in the comments because I'd love to hear where you feel like you're floating at. And it's just really good for you to just begin to identify because we can't change anything without self-awareness. We cannot change anything without self-awareness. And so we need to slow down and pause for a minute and get into touch with where we're at mentally and emotionally, physically, and identify it and making this a habit, especially when you find yourself reacting in a way that you don't like. That is a moment where you're like, oh, wait, this is a yellow or red light. I'm not responding the way I want to. This is a yellow or red light. Where am I at? And then you can also, once you've identified that, you can also see where your children are at. So let's see here. Okay. So let me share one more thing that really helped me. Okay, we are almost at time. I want to try to keep this, 30 minutes for you ladies, because obviously you've got things to do. So here's what helped me. Having tiny reset rituals, which is very often for me a deep breath. I have this habit of holding my breath, which doesn't help anyone. Certainly doesn't help me regulate. So I very much focus on breathing slowly. Sometimes it means stepping outside and touching grass. And then sometimes it's just reminding myself that I'm safe. I'm loved. I can choose. Like, I'm not stuck here. The next moment is up to me. And honestly, what helped me change the most is really listening to what Jesus said about me. Go again, like I said, go to Romans 8. Go see what God says about you as his children. And so he, when we feel like that monster, or even we're just feeling like we're in yellow or red, going back to your identity is key. So I would love to hear from you guys, you ladies in the comments. What helps you reset when you feel like you're going to lose it? Do you have any tools that help you? I think if you could put those in the chat, it would be very helpful for any mom who's tuning in, because it's important that we share about this and things that have helped us. Like the only reason I even began understanding I had a problem was because another mom was sharing vulnerably with me. That's the only reason that I understood, oh, this isn't normal and I should be able to do this, but there's something wrong. So again, if you have tools that work for you, drop those in the chat, please. And then I want to invite you, join me July 15th, because this traffic light brain is just one of the tools I talk about in this book, Overwhelmed, a Homeschool Mom's Rescue Plan for Peaceful Routines. And I wrote it for the mom who feels like she's falling apart inside the life she asked for. And, some of us asked for homeschooling, some of us didn't. But if you are falling apart inside the life that you want to create, this book is for you. And on July 15th, the Kindle version is just going to be 99 cents. And I want you to grab it. And if you join the giveaway, I'm hosting the giveaway one day. The giveaway is one day. And so if you buy the book for 99 cents and then come join the giveaway, come here live, and I'll have the giveaway link. I am giving away a $100 Amazon gift card, a spot in my premium program, as well tickets to my Plan Your Homeschool Year Like a Boss event. So there's a lot of prizes this day, and we're going to have interviews, and I'll be doing live readings from the book. I'd absolutely love to have you. Let's see here. Just a happy little reminder. You're not broken. You're actually not even a lava monster. You're a mom who's doing her best with no margins. And we can change that so that you can begin showing up as the life-giving goddess mother that you were meant to be. You were designed to be. So next week, come live. We're going to be talking all about the book, lots of mom interviews, sharing hearts about being overwhelmed, being burnt out, how we made it through. And I'd absolutely love to have you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing your answers in the comments.